It's coming to read something else from my notes. This is a verse by Surdas Ji. He said, the flute has but to touch his lips, and a bird shuts his eyes to listen, quiet as a seer in deepest contemplation. The flute has but to touch his lips, and a bird shuts his eyes to listen, quiet as a seer in deepest contemplation. So what does the flute represent? This happens to all of us, isn't it? That there are moments where we sense an inner calling, and that's all that seems important at that point of time. Like it is said that when Krishna would play his flute, then all the devotees, all the gopis would leave everything that they were working on, and they had really no choice but to follow the sound of the flute, the holy sound which brought them to the Lord Himself. So, who is this flute playing for? Is it not playing for all of us? So, in a way, Maya is a distraction from that holy calling which pulls us into the holy place within ourselves, the Vrindavan within our hearts. Vrindavan is, for those who don't know, the holy gardens where Radha Krishna used to do their leelas. But my feeling is that there is a Vrindavan in our heart where God Himself delights to stay, loves to be there. And He is calling us in to that same place. So Surdaji said that even a bird closes its eyes like a seer in deep contemplation. And what kind of contemplation is this? the deepest contemplation, which is wordless. It is the fruit of all prayer, the fruit of all sadhana, all atma vichara. Leads to the same place. Where to the mind nothing is happening. But to our heart's eyes, everything is being revealed. In that silent, holy communication is transforming us from the inside. Transforming our insides, which may be still attached to the worldly, transforming them into the holy. Can you hear the notes of a flute without sound? That which has a magnetic quality, that which pulls you into the heart. Okay, let me go to the next verse. Okay, so the next one in my notes, I don't even remember when I wrote this down. So this is Thomas Keating who said, so the main thing is to be transformed into God, what the early church called deification. So the main thing is to be transformed into God, what the early church called deification, theosis, divinization. So the main thing is to be transformed into God. So this inner transformation that we were speaking about, which is a gift from the Atma within, from the Holy Spirit within. It is dissolving all sense of separation, of individual identity. Just like the wave can come to know its unity with the ocean, and therefore said to transform into the ocean itself, while never claiming the entirety of the ocean for itself. So whether we say we merge into God or we recognize our oneness with God, or we transform into God, all these terms actually are different ways to express the same process which happens. So in the light of the Spirit, our insides, our antakarna, our soul becomes Spirit. And that process, that project is called spirituality. Can we allow God to do this work within our hearts? Because in his humility, in his play, in his lila, he seeks our consent. He does not force this love. He allows us to play this game of separation for as long as we like. So is there a consent in our hearts? God, I belong to you. I am yours alone. And I'm not happy to just know this conceptually. I want to meet this in the most deep, most intimate meeting possible. Take my will, take my heart, take every action. Show me how I can love you. Everything that I have, I consent to allow that to belong only to you. The Supreme Being Krishna is simultaneously one. The Supreme Being Krishna is simultaneously one with and different from his creation and individual being. This is the definition of Achinta Bheda Abheda. Krishna is simultaneously one and different from his creation and individual being. So remember that in the transformation into God, into the divinization, we come to the recognition of oneness, the recognition of unity. But oftentimes the claimant of oneness is the trickster who wants to specially be the one. In which the seed of pride hides. So this self-knowledge is a recognition. So this Achinta Bheda Bheda is a recognition which is only found in that heart transmission, in that holy seeing, in the holiest of insight. So it is said that the gopis who were in love with Lord Krishna, there is a misunderstanding that they were just ignorant, silly fools in love. It is not possible to drown in the heart, to drown in his love, and remain empty of recognition, of true self-knowledge. So as we follow the holy flute within, to where even our attention cannot go, we find a holy teacher showing us in mysterious ways which the mind cannot fathom. What is the reality of ourselves? What is love? Free pilgrimage that we make into the heart temple, we offer up a part of ourselves which is false. And as these false parts of us keep dropping away, what shines through us is God's light alone. And what we thought we were is nowhere to be found. And the only one that truly is is all that is here. And yet, through some mysterious compulsion, we pick ourselves up, even if in the tiniest way, we retrieve the tiniest of the faults and retain it with ourselves. So that this one can now love and serve the Holy One. But this hellish separation has now become a heavenly union. Psalm 62, it is said, "For God alone my soul in silence waits. For God alone my soul in silence waits." How beautiful is it that our beginning verse in Satsang was Rajji saying the same thing. So when the author of this psalm wrote this, what was their intention? For God alone, my soul in silence waits. Is that to imply, see how special I am? How my soul is so special that in silence it waits for God alone. Look how worthy I am. No, it is probably, I don't know the author, but probably King David, who was a sage, a prophet, saying, giving us spiritual instruction. Empty for God, open to His love, fully available to be loved by God, is to love Him. What is needed to stay here? What gets in the way? How long must I wait for God? Is this a waiting that is empty of God? Is is preparing the bride for the meeting with the bridegroom. Next, Eckhart said, the sublime and glorious reality, which we call God, is to be sought first and foremost in the heart. If we do not find him there, we shall not find him anywhere else. If we do find him there, we can never lose him again. Wherever we turn, we shall see his face. Is our heart in our hearts? Is our heart in our heart? Because where our treasure is, there our heart will be. Is Kabir ji lamenting about us? गांठ खोल देखा नहीं दुनिया से गया कंगाल. It means did not ever bother to open the knot and to look in the right place, and therefore left this world empty-handed. What are the odds? The odds are that he is talking about us, because this is the condition of most of humanity. Does your heart belong to God? Is it broken into pieces because you have treasures everywhere? Is there anyone in Satsang who has no clue about what is happening? Somebody new, somebody who's come here first time, or a few times and still have no clue about what is this foolish man going on about. And I'm happy to clarify if there is someone. Because till we get somewhere, I don't know where we'll get this actually, but somewhere we get the point of our lives, which is the divinization which Thomas Keating was talking about. Whether we are attracted to the path of recognition through inquiry or merging into a holy union through the path of love. So either we have to wait with humility, patiently, in the holy place. The lovers may call it the heart, and the Gyanis may call it the place of intuition, spiritual insight. It is here that the silent, ineffable transmission from the Atma within, from the Holy Spirit within, is the mode of teaching which becomes the most important. Where we become disciples of the Atma, And in this discipleship, we are shown the highest truths as well as the moment to moment guidance. So the heart is the resting place of God in the form of the Atma, the Holy Spirit. Patience and courage are both very important because the mind will make us impatient, saying nothing is happening. But remember that the story of your transformation will not be narrated by your mind accurately. In fact, this energy, this mind will actively resist your transformation, your divinization. Remember that there are two modes of pride. One is that I'm frustrated because I should have had it by now. Frustration is nothing. This irritation, anger is just about your idea of how special you are and how could God be taking so long to come to you who are so special and waiting. Where there are stories of sages praying for thousands of years on one leg, waiting for God. And we are quick to become despondent, frustrated, irritated, judgmental. So that is the first pride. And the second pride is that, but I know this. What is this waiting that all these foolish ones are talking about, right from Sudas ji to King David? What is there to wait? What do they know? Why does Radha ji wait every day for Krishna? What does she know? Why did Hanumanji wait for decades? Mahashabri wait for decades. What does Saint Teresa of Avila know? Where she has told us that after so many states of samadhi, after the recognition of the prayer of union, we still have to wait for the divine marriage to happen. So neither the checker guy nor the getter guy we can rely on. It is the antidote to pride. Papaji said, be quiet. This quiet is not the absence of sound, not the absence of words. It is to remain in that inner stillness, which our mind is desperate for us to escape. Because it feels humiliated in the trying to remain silent. So rather than trying to remain silent, it would rather make us take the position of the frustrated one or the one who has already got it. And the ultimate humiliation for the ego is the egoic death, a dissolution, a dissolution of the mind which seems like death to our pride. It is the worst thing possible. But to our soul, it is the highest. You just have to be quiet. Don't mistake this to mean an outer quiet. But remember, this means what King David said, for God alone, my soul silently waits. One way to look at this could be to look at the Atma as the source of love and knowledge, both visible and invisible. And when we make ourselves available through our consent and availability in time, that's very important. Both consent and availability in time. We make ourselves, our soul, our antakarna available to the Atma to receive the holy rays, the holy transmission of love and knowledge from this sun which is shining more brightly than the outer sun. But because we don't yet have the capacity to see the brightness. It will seem like a silent and invisible transformation, transmission. And that is why this process needs faith. If you could see it happening, everybody would be there. You see, if you could see God sitting there, hand like this, and sending the transmission of love and knowledge to you, filling your Atma with light, who will want to leave? But because this process is not perceivable, only felt intuitively, to rely on that intuition is called faith. But what does give us reassurance is that no matter which time period in history, no matter which region of the world, no matter which religion, all the sages are pointing to the same thing. And that should be enough to reassure us, even when we don't find the intuitive faith. Unless we are then saying Kabir ji is a liar, King David is a liar, Saint Teresa is a liar, Surdas ji is a liar. And, yeah, in the sense that I consent to this transformation. I consent to belong only to you. But now, when that will happen is up to you, your problem. When you call me, this famous thing, no? When you will call me, I will come. No, we have to be available to Him for this process of transformation now. Now, now, now. Not tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. Kabir ji said, पल में परले होएगी बहुरी करेगा कब. Means death is coming. Death is coming. Whether you look at individual death or the end of the world, it doesn't matter. The end is coming. When are you going to do this work? So our availability in terms of time for our insights to be completely transformed in this way is very important. Consent is like I sign the contract that I belong only to you. Is Or let's look at it this way, that I say that I'm married to you, is it? But tomorrow I leave for London and then I'll see you when I see you. That way. But I get a sense of what you're saying also, because if you're truly consenting to belong to God, then that must come along with your time as well. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see what it is. Yeah. But I want to keep highlighting the time part, you see, because there are many who get into a lip service spirituality, which is that my life is for God, all I want is God. How much time did you spend in inquiry prayer last week? Oh, I was very busy. So true consent would mean time as well. But I don't want us to get trapped in the false idea that I am fully consenting to God while not giving time. So let's put it this way. What is the marker that you've given consent to God? How much time you give. The rest is lip service or Advaita excuses. There is no time. We must remember that sometimes our highest notions themselves get in the way or facilitate us leaving empty handed from this world. As Kabirji said, that Maya is the greatest con artist and she hides even behind the devotion of a devotee, she can become proud, make us proud. You see? So it can make us proud also that, and that's why I stopped putting the poll also, saying that, oh, but I'm spending so many hours in prayer. Pride is possible. That which is meant to encourage can make us also proud in Maya's twisted way of making us special. Saint Elizabeth of the Trinity said, I have found heaven on earth. I have found heaven on earth. Since heaven is God and God is in my soul, the day I understood this, everything became luminous in me. And I wish to tell the secret to those I love. So notice that the words of the sages are beautiful because not only are they expressing their inner condition, they're also telling us what to do. That's the beauty of this. That in their testimony is also spiritual instruction. Yeah? So she said, I have found heaven on earth. It means that I don't have to die to meet him, to find heaven. And since heaven is God, what does it mean? Heaven is God? God's presence is heaven. You see? So, what will be special about heaven if there's one in the afterlife? That God will be there. You see? Can we make this existence heavenly? Yes, by being in God's presence. What happens when I'm in God's presence? Everything became luminous in me. So before that, she said, and God is in my soul. Mhm. He is there within us. The day I understood this, everything became luminous. Mhm. What kind of understanding is this? It is that very transmission, not a mental understanding. Who in India doesn't know God is in us? Or maybe in the world actually, except if you take out the atheists and some more people. Everybody knows, understands the concept that God is in us. You see? What she is talking about is that when her insides became luminous, not in this form of life, not a phenomenal life, we start to sense the Holy One living inside you. There is a being called God. He lives there in your heart. And God's presence loves to love God. Mm. So as we are transforming into that presence, that is how we are learning to love God as well. Mm. There is nothing that the Atma loves more than to love God. Mm. This is the love that we receive from the Atma within. And when we make ourselves available, empty, and consenting, and this is the love that we are learning. Please you off for a bit, Peter. What is the word? Oh. For God alone, my soul in silence waits. This is the eating part. The cooking part would be using our faculty, saying God's name in our mind, on our tongue, inwardly, to use our mind to ask the question, who am I? But it must lead to the eating part, which is to wait in that holy silence of the heart, empty for God. So as we run towards Krishna, that is the active recollection. As we attempt to remain quiet, that is the active recollection. And then when you find yourself floating irresistibly, carried by some unknown force, then that is the passive recollection, where all our faculties are turning inwards towards Him by His own grace. You can't predict when it is going to happen. You don't know which power makes it happen because it is not attention. It is definitely not belief. It's a mysterious, supernatural gift from God.